I've been derailed the last couple of weeks trying to fix a bunch of stuff, including a ceiling that fell down. So I haven't gotten really to doing anything in the office since we tore some of the moldings off and took a better look at what was underneath there. There was at least one thing that got done here though, and that is we finally have posts for the balcony railings. Now I don't know when the actual railings are coming and being installed, but at least the hard part is done and those are screwed in through the roof, and we've had a ton of rain here, and luckily so far, fingers crossed, no leaks. So today, I think this video is gonna start at least all about demolition. Let's tear the apart. Seriously? Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Most of the demolition is done. I did rip off all the moldings and casings. There were some problems I found that will require some additional demolition, one of which is why you now see this harsh lighting. That's because I had to turn the power off to this room. It doesn't look like these light switches were installed completely correctly. One is the original switch, which to the room looks fine, other than it does have a little sizzle to it, which means it's probably dying. The other switch is just kind of a punch box pushed through the wall, and no one really paid any attention to making it straight, so it's crooked. And I'm just gonna open it up, take a look at it, make sure everything's okay, and then close the wall back up. Change the 2 single gang boxes to a double gang box, and also see if there's any way that I might be able to run a light into this closet over here. So we'll start with that, but before I do that, I'll show you some of the other things that need to get done. These are the switches I want to replace. I could just cut the drywall out around these boxes and then fix them and see what else is around there to tie the wires in. But that would require 4 pieces of tape, or at least 2 side to side. Then I'll have to blend that all into the wall. So I think what I'm gonna actually do here is I'm just gonna make one cut in the drywall up here and take it off straight down to the floor. That way I have an easy view of the light switches, and I can pretty easily see what shape the wiring's in. Let's start there and see what we have behind this wall. So this part is actually pretty interesting. Usually the box is cut out completely to the drywall and the switch is screwed into the electrical box all the way. In this case, it's actually screwed into the drywall down here, not actually into the box, leaving a gap around the light switch. So I've checked the power. There's no power going to either of these switches, so it should be safe to disconnect the wiring. I'm going to take out all these old plastic boxes and I'm going to replace it with a nice new double gang box, and I'm going to put it at the right distance from this so that the drywall fits nice and neat around it. Before taking out this old wiring and redoing it, it's always good to take a picture first, just in case you kind of forget what goes where. For this room, I'm going to use a Cassetta smart switch dimmer so we can control that via Alexa or Siri or HomeKit, anything that we want. But for the attic switch, I don't need to spend the extra money for that kind of smartness, I guess. So they just got a regular flip switch to turn the attic light on and off. So I'm going to take these apart and I'm going to wire these in. All the wires are secured, a little bit of electrical tape for extra security, and now it's time just to put the switches back into the box. Now I just got to cut a piece of drywall to cover this area, and while I'm doing that, I'm also going to sand down some of the rest of the walls that have some bubbles and other weird repairs. So hopefully we don't find anything else underneath that needs additional repair. So a lot of people watching this are probably saying, wow, that is some aggressive sanding you were doing. Why are you doing that to your drywall? Well, there's a pretty simple answer to this, and this is probably something a lot of people encounter. There were a lot of patches done in this room, and they were done badly. They were done over water damage. They were done over wall anchors without removing the wall anchor, and there were lots of big protrusions. And the answer that a lot of people use, and it was done all over this house, is to put a big glob of spackle over the top and then brush paint over it. So you have this big protrusion off the wall and then brush strokes, and it just ruins the smoothness of the walls and makes them look all lumpy. And the fastest way to get that down is to just blast sand it off the wall. So what I'm going to have to go through now is patch all these holes. I'm going to have to fix the cracks and also probably skim coat over some of the areas where the brush strokes were so bad that they literally will ruin the texture of the wall. So I need to smooth that out and then repaint over it so everything looks smooth. So that's what I'm going to do right now. With all this sanded down, I'm going to get a big tub of joint compound and I am going to patch hundreds of holes and also skim coat some of the sections of the wall to make everything look nice again. So while I'm waiting for all that stuff to dry, luckily, there is always something else to do. So I'm gonna start by going and getting the car inspected and then do a few other things around the house. This old alarm panel, it is ugly. The door does not stay shut. There's wiring run haphazardly all through the house. I'm not gonna say who installed this, but let's just say I will never call them to do anything in this house. So we actually went with a wireless system that's installed. The house is secure. So let's just get this gone. This is 100% Mikey's list. Another thing I was working on while I was waiting for the joint compound to dry was waiting on paint samples to dry. So these are all just examples of colors we're thinking for this room, and yeah, there's a lot of them. Unfortunately, there's going to be some more because my wife didn't like any of the colors, so maybe I will run out to the store now and pick up some more paint samples.
Oh, but you dropped it.
I went out for paint swatches, but there's always a few other things you find that you need. Patches on the drywall are dry and they're sanded and they're ready to go for primer. So I think that's going to wrap up this video. I'm going to start priming these walls. We'll pick up next time with the painting and starting to lay out the board and batten wainscoting that I'm going to use in this room. So for now, thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, please click the subscribe button and hit the little bell so we can notify you when we have new content coming out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Which color do you like for your playroom? Which one? This one, or this one? Which one do you like? Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, no, there's paint on your head. No!